My guests tonight? Well, they dazzle. Impossibly attractive, talented, young and successful, they are Bollywood's glorious couple. And this is their love story. Hrithik and Suzanne.
Just let your thoughts and dreams unfold. You and I, let's talk of love, of tales untold. Speak to me so I can see your soul.
Hi, Dugu, darling.
Hi again.
Welcome back.
Well, it's good to be back.
It can't look familiar because it's changed a bit.
It does actually. The white and it's the flowers and
me.
it's nice, yeah, of course. That's fab.
No, but that's what I want to ask you. Are you a different Hrithik from the one who was here 5 years ago?
Not really, but of course, you know, a man evolves. You know, there are changes. I've learned a lot. I've learned to accept a lot of me, and the way I am. So I'm less awkward now, and you know, more of myself.
Do you remember when you came here? This was just after Kaho Na Pyar Hai, and you were at the center of this Hrithik mania, and you were bewildered by it.
I remember that.
Can I rewind?
Sure. Well, I have sat and tried to analyze what's happening to me, but somewhere down the line, it just doesn't make enough sense. Because too much has happened too soon. I know I did correct work in my film. It was nothing extraordinary. It's like I worked for 50 rupees, I got 100 rupees. Yeah, I said that a lot. I have kept my 50 rupees in my pocket. The rest of the 50 I've kept aside because I know they'll want it back.
So I've been waiting to ask you, where's the 50 bucks now?
I think I gave it back.
Nobody took it back.
Come on, I mean, you know, I just feel that life is much more balanced now between my fame, my image, and the amount of talent I have. So this is a far better way to be than that. At that time, what was being made out of it was far beyond, you know, what I deserved. For sure, for sure.
You're still harsh on yourself.
I don't know, am I?
You're your own prosecutor and your own judge.
Worked for me so far.
Being a star is about loving yourself. Have you learned to do that?
How do you do that? How do you do that? I don't know. I don't know. I have learned to be comfortable with myself, but love myself, that's a bit too much. I don't think I'll ever get down to doing that.
You don't love yourself?
No. I like a lot of qualities that I'm about, but no, I don't think I can say I love myself.
Are you still the perfectionist?
What is a perfectionist? I just spend a lot of time covering up my flaws, and people start pointing a finger and saying, perfectionist. Not a perfectionist at all. It's just that I have so many flaws that I work so much at it, you know, which is why I became what I became. And my premise has always been that I cannot do a bad job. You know, I can't not look good. It's more trying not to fall.
But tell me, is there anybody who is perfect?
Anybody, and you know, whoever says that nobody's perfect, didn't get a chance to meet Suzanne, my wife. I think she's perfect. Yeah, I'm far from it.
Which is better, Dugu? To be perfect or to be human?
I think to be human is the closest that you can get to being perfect.
If you see a real apple and you see a perfect apple,
right,
which one would you go for?
The real one.
The real one?
Yeah.
Who wants perfection?
I think you're right.
You're wonderful now the way you are. You're real. And that's what we want.
Well, great.
So, today, is the job getting easier or harder?
Easier for sure. Until Koi Mil Gaya happened, there was this, you know, conditioned mindset of how a hero is supposed to be, and I was just trying to fit into that mold.
Stereotype.
Yeah, everything was always graphed and mapped. I knew my pauses, I knew what I was going to do, how I was going to look. I had a preconceived notion of everything. When I did Koimilya, I was, you know, dude, what was I doing? Yeah. That's not acting. You know, that was pretense. And for the first time, I felt the true flight of an actor, you know.
Tugu, you know, they say there are 4 seasons in an actor's life. First is when he's promising. The second, when he's arrived.
Been there.
The third, when he's finished.
Right,
and
been there.
And the fourth, when he's back.
Right, been there too.
You've been through all of it in the last 5 years.
Right. I remember picking up this magazine which had my face on it, and it said, finished. I was smiling from the inside.
Why?
I realized it was my face that was putting the bread on their tables for that month. So I could not be finished, you know.
Yeah, and then your face wouldn't have been there.
Yeah. Secondly, I work best when you say, he can't. I'm thankful because it gave me so much drive, it gave me so much determination. It's always been my philosophy that, you know, the finest steel must go through the hottest fire. So that whenever the fire gets hotter, I know, you know, I'll just come out all the more finer.
Yeah, but normally actors are woundable, you know, and it can't not have hurt.
Well, you know, I didn't believe them when they said phenomena. I didn't believe them when they said finished.
Okay, tell me, what is the biggest lesson that you have learned about films and about this film industry which you did not know when you were starting out?
A lot of things. I realized that you cannot please everyone. And then I read this quote by Bill Cosby, and he says, there is no sure way to success, but one sure way to failure is trying to please everybody. So that is a lesson learned. And one of the strangest things about success, which I have learned in my life, is that you have this huge mountain, and you have to get there. And you climb, and you climb, and you struggle, and you climb, and you finally get to the peak, hoist that flag, and you look around, and suddenly the peak has turned into flat ground again. Yeah, and what lies before you is another mountain with another peak. And then you go at it once more. So after a series of peaks and climbs, you know, you think, I'm missing the point here. Because how long do I spend enjoying that peak? 2 minutes? 3 minutes? And it dawns on you that it's about the climb. There are going to be a lot of peaks, a lot of mountains. You just have to enjoy the process.
You started doing that?
More for the love of it than out of fear of failing.
So there is a different Dugu in front of me today.
Yeah.
And much for the better.
I hope so.
Do you remember when you came here 5 years ago?
Yes,
you made a promise that you would be coming back with Suzanne.
Yes.
Well, I've been waiting 5 years and I can't wait a minute more. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi.
Finally.
Good to be here.
Actually, the name is Angel.
You'll have been talking about me before
No.
I was here.
No. How did you get this name?
Well, there was this one time when my friend Uday was going to this party, and Suzanne was going to be there. I wasn't going. He asked me, how will I know who she is? And I said, well, you know, she looks like an angel. And when you see her, you will know. When he arrived there, he called me back, and he said that I didn't even take a second You know, he took one glance at the entire discotheque, and he just picked her up like that.
That's
Wow.
right. And now today, everybody has your name under A for angel.
You know, an angel can be a devil also sometimes. Every human being has their
Look at her
flaws.
trying to justify, explain.
Excuse me, no.
No, you know, actually I'm an angel, but you know, I can do bad things.
So didn't you know each other as kids?
You know, we kind of knew each other because we used to stay in the same area. I remember we never really spoke or interacted, but we always used to notice. Like, I used to always notice that, you know, this cute guy and whatever. And, like, you know, this guy used to come and he used to do all these stunts on his bike in this building that
try and
I used
impress
to
everyone.
come.
Were you trying to impress her?
No, not
Everyone.
really.
Everyone.
All,
Okay.
Everyone.
all the little
Just wanted to
girls there.
impress all the girls.
And he used to come on his bike and do all these wheelies, and all the girls used to go like, wow, and all, you know. But he was very shy. It wasn't like he was doing it to show off. He was just doing it because I think it gave him a thrill.
Yeah.
And then he used to take off. It's not like he used to hang out and want praises.
Okay.
No, I was what, 11 or something, 10 or 11. A lot of my friends noticed me noticing her, and they started to tease me by singing that famous song, Suzanne. And, you know, that whole phase ended with that. I went my way, she went her way.
She went to America.
And then I saw her once at this party.
This was at Sunaina's engagement.
Probably. And I said, you see that girl there? She's gonna be mine. I just said it. And,
Damn, even that gives me gooseflesh till today. I had no clue.
and then we met after she returned from her, whatever she was doing in America, the interiors thing.
Whatever she
I
was
know.
doing. How bad is
Very,
that?
very important thing.
And you met at the traffic light or so.
Yeah,
Actually, we just
Our
saw
car
each
just-
other. It was like a typical filmy scene.
very filmy.
We were both parked, like, you know, parallel to each other, and he was sitting
I
in
looked
the
at
front
her,
seat, and he was driving, and I was also sitting in the front. So both were like next to each other, kind of. So I just looked at him, and then he looked at me, and
And we looked back.
we pretended like
And the entire way from that place to our homes, our cars were like ahead, behind,
and we were
ahead.
seeing
And we were
each
very
other
conscious.
in that
I was looking
rearview
at her,
mirror.
she was looking at me.
and we pretended like as if we're not paying attention to each other,
Yeah.
you know.
And then we had this mutual friend of ours, Kunu, who's also an
Kunal,
actor now.
yeah.
Kunal Kapoor. And he told me that, hey, you met Suzanne.
She told him.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
really strange because we both spoke to this common friend
By chance.
About each
by
other.
chance about each other.
So he was like, she spoke about you as well. Why don't you call her up?
And then he was shy to call me, let me tell you. And I told Kunal, why is he feeling so shy? Tell him to call me. I'm not going to call him. So anyway, then he called, I think.
What did he say?
He was just very awkward. He was-
Awkward?
Yeah, you felt awkward calling me because obviously.
What
You
did
were,
you say?
Floored.
No, but I
Instantly.
immediately made him feel comfortable, I think.
Oh, fat.
I did.
I get no credit.
And I think from day one, we just connected.
And you'd never had a girlfriend before.
Well, I had
Did.
dates.
Not
Never
a
really had
girlfriend.
Not serious, but you didn't have a girlfriend, I guess.
Yeah, like 4 days, 5 days.
That's it.
Yeah, and then the girl was like, "Oh, I love you," and I was like, "Dude, you gotta. This is not. Love doesn't happen this easily." They used to put me off.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, people just used to fall in love with me.
Keep quiet.
At that time, Tugu was completely unknown, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was like working with Dad.
In Koila.
And Dad used
She
to
knows
think that he was a real useless because in those days he talked to me on the phone.
I remember that.
Yeah, how much you talk on the phone and all that.
Really?
Because
People are working so hard and all.
And you used to always be
But
on phone.
in the beginning,
God, it just occurred to me at a strange time.
that was very strange.
When did you go on your first date?
13th of Jan.
Leela, coffee shop.
Dinner.
No, it wasn't even dinner.
I was
It
too
was
shy to eat.
evening.
So I couldn't eat
He didn't
anything.
eat. He didn't eat because he
Was too shy?
was awkward to eat, and I
She
ate
paid the bill.
Why did you pay them?
because I had started working.
I thought it was quite cool.
And
like,
I
you
had
should
started
pay the
working,
bill.
and so I said, come on, let me pay the bill this time.
He was only earning 700 rupees a month anyway.
Not even.
He had not started earning.
So it was difficult for him.
And he was very impressed because he could not believe that
Yeah, that
this
was one of the
girl
things
is
that actually
paying.
attracted me to her a lot.
That she was working.
Because she was this beautiful, very young girl who was earning her own money. I thought that was great.
So how could you then, after that, afford to court her in that sense?
I didn't need to. I didn't need to. She was just...
We used to just take these drives. We never really
Went
had
out.
these expensive dinners, and our
As I said,
dating
it just took a
was-
second. She was... You have...
It was just very.
You told me that. You went home and you lay down on the bed and you looked up at the ceiling and said, I found my dream man.
You still did that?
I
you
knew in
lying?
my mind.
Why are you lying?
Yeah, no, I knew in my mind that I was totally, like, I knew that this is the guy I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. And let's see.
I have that about me.
Oh, stop it.
Shut up now. Stop it.
Stunning.
Didn't he write you lots of poems?
He was a poet in the making. I'm not joking. He was better than any of these.
Don't go there. Not a
Khalil
poet in the making,
Gibran
Suzanne.
and all those people. Put to shame how many poems he's written recently. I swear to God.
He writes
They were
beautifully.
outstanding, these
He
poems.
writes beautifully.
And please don't say such
I
words.
swear
You've
to
not
God.
read poetry.
He was only 21.
I
and
wasn't,
And
yeah.
the poems that he had written were like, as if, he's lived his whole life and, gone through a lot of...
Please don't.
Because he lives his life inside.
He's very
thinks
deep.
Very deep.
Yeah.
Poetry is very personal. We know and how much you had to overcome to become an actor. In what way was Suzanne part of that struggle?
Let's just say that if she wasn't there in my life, I would not have become an actor.
Why?
She just had this faith that I lacked. She could see something that I could not. And I was almost contemplating giving it up. There were so many little failures that I was going through at that time and I was struggling. That I just come home and give up. I said, maybe not. Maybe there's something else. And she was like, no, I just know it. I know you have it in you. You just go. She almost blindfolded me and pushed me in front of the camera.
I think he's a little bit giving me too much credit for something. But honestly, I just knew that what I saw in his eyes, whenever I used to see him, that everybody else in the world had to see that. So I had this thing that used to tell me that, let him know that. But I didn't have anything to do with his struggle. It was all his single-handed thing.
Maybe.
More
But I
happiness
firmly believe, I think that if I didn't have that influence, I might have just gone another way. And she was just the right kind of support that a person like me needed at that time.
Actually, I was very enamored by his dedication. I think that made me fall more in love with him.
When she believes something, when she says something with the kind of faith that she has, you just believe it. When I used to hear her words and just look into her eyes, I used to believe that, she's right. This is what I should do. I should just keep at it.
What did she used to say?
negating mostly my self-doubts and all that.
Yeah, he was very...
It's always been full of self-doubts.
very negative towards lots of things. And
The
I wanted
confidence.
him to get that confidence. Excuse me, but look at you. You know, like I wanted to be that mirror, you know, that
You also dressed him, didn't you?
dressed him.
Fashion-wise.
You know, I've always had this thing to, like I did it with Zaid.
Did you tell him also, okay, change your shirt or you're not coming out with me?
She still does. The shirt has been picked by her.
I used to always like to tell Zaid, you know, what to wear and what to do.
So that
So that thing
continues.
is- so now when I got
I know what Zad
married,
went
I
through.
just-
Then suddenly, your shy, unknown boyfriend becomes an overnight phenomenon, a national craze. What does this do to you?
Oh my God, you know, I was in shock. I mean, in shock in the sense that I was totally overwhelmed. I couldn't believe that whatever I felt about him has come true. And in such a big scale.
The word is phenomenal.
Phenomena.
But what did this do to your
To our
relationship?
relationship. We were the same.
It has to change, Suzanne.
No, I'll tell you what changed the time. That we didn't have enough time to just hang out and, you know, so that, yeah,
That went.
But, you know, so he made the effort to see me each day. There wasn't one day that we were in Bombay
That he
and
didn't
he didn't meet me. So it's not like he was like in his own world.
But what happens to the equation when suddenly a person who's just yours, your own private
Becomes
little
like the
boyfriend-
whole world.
Every woman wants him. He's desirable to everybody.
But I loved that.
Why?
Because it was the biggest high. I felt so proud, and he knows that. I always feel that this is what it is. If you're going to be involved with an actor or a star, you can't get upset when he is being appreciated by other women or whatever. You know, there are hundreds of women who will, you know, try and get his attention. So take it as a compliment because he likes you, you know.
Loves you.
It never made me feel insecure.
No, that's got to do a lot of me.
Yeah, yeah. He was blatantly
Credit
honest
there.
with everything that happened on the sets or whatever. Any girl was making any pass on him or whatever. We
tell.
used to talk about it openly. I never felt that, oh, you're not telling me, you're hiding from me. You know, insecurity comes when people hide from each other.
When did you decide that you wanted to marry her?
I knew that I could not live without her. You know, I needed her and I wanted her. To be with her when I wake up in the morning and to have her, you
In
know,
your
in
life.
my life, in my room, and marriage was the only way I could get there.
There was a real sweet incident, which I must say. We had gone to a coffee shop again, and he wrote something on this napkin, and he gave it to me. So the letter said, if you're interested to spend the rest of your life with me,
Then turn over. And you know, when she turned over, there was this if you live your life with me, I'll give you all of that.
it was so beautiful.
She said yes, and my life left the wings and came out onto the big stage.